Mama, I got bad news, bad news. I've been rolling with some bad dudes, bad dudes. I've been trying to get a bag too.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Ashes to Awesome podcast, Rising in Recovery. Our podcast provides light, hope, and understanding about addiction and mental health to those living within that life and the people who love them. This episode is brought to you by Together We Can, where Canada recovers from addiction. That's twcrecoverylife.org. Hello, everybody. Watchers, listeners, supporters of all kinds. Welcome to another episode of Kaleidoscope Wednesday on the Ashes to Awesome podcast. I'm your host, Chuck LaFlange. Checking in from Krabi, Thailand, halfway around the world, virtual studio. It's Ryan Bathgate. How you doing today, Ryan?
Honestly, I think, like, if I was an HB2 pencil, I would be pretty much right down to the nub. You can't sharpen this pencil anymore. And yeah. I'm tired, man. I'm feeling it. So basically December hits, and I've been to the gym twice in a week instead of the 5-6 times. My meal prep is not prepping. My Doritos and all the bad things. Sleep's gone out the window. I'm just ready to not work for a little bit and then get right back at it.
Yeah.
I've given myself probably an awful excuse, but I've allowed myself to just let it go for a couple weeks.
Well,
and with full intentions of getting back at it. And that's kind of I said, when we were done summer, it's grind time, and that's my life is grindy. It's very grindy. And so, yeah, I'm tired. I don't know. I feel it when I'm low energy, my exposure to the expansion of phenomenological thought starts to dissipate, and I stop thinking about the wonders of the universe, and I start thinking about love handles, and napping. I miss napping. I remember I used to be able to nap all the time, man. And when I'm not tired, I don't care about napping.
Yeah.
So I'm in a place that I'm ready to take a little bit of time and chill and get back to reset, because honestly, I really enjoy my mind when it's functioning. I like to think about.
Okay, it's borderline.
I like to think about stuff, and
I just get.
Is it though? Okay, let's look at it from a confidence perspective. I like to think the way I think, and really, in reality, it's a point of evolution, because, like I said many times, that I always was really insecure about the way I thought, and so now I'm at a place that I enjoy it, and now I'm too damn tired to go there.
Yeah.
So
So I have to ask.
But I mean,
is part of that, is part of that exhaustion? Exhaustion, if I could use that word for it, is part of that because of. I mean, you're in the community services, right? It's Christmas. There's some extra stress is put on that way. Is it like empathetic exhaustion? Maybe that's about what's going on around you. Or is it something else driving that there? Right?
So I'll just I'm going to correct the term, if you I like to do. Compassion fatigue is the word you're looking for. It's a large part of it is because of part of my portfolio involves us providing gifts and Christmas dinners to families that can't afford that. And so a lot of the last month has been about organizing these things and making a lot of partnerships and working out, getting donations and campaigning, and so yes, definitely a lot of is that, and then you add on top of that the therapeutic aspect of a lot of clients going through holidays, and it's a difficult time for people, and the phone calls and the yeah, and you know, like, and I'm sitting complaining about a life that I absolutely love, but everything wears on you when you don't have good balance and the proper access to self-care. I mean, I need to sleep more and I need to eat better. I need to go to the gym more, and ultimately I need to work less, Chuck. I need to work less.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know how that's going to happen.
Yeah,
and so that can be frustrating at times, but yeah. I mean, I guess I sit, I complain about that stuff, but let's really look at it. Let's look at it here. I've never had to worry for 1 second in my life that my village was going to be wiped out by rebels. I've never had to worry about walking through a field and stepping on an old mine. I've never had to walk more than the distance from my sink to my couch for water. I've never had to worry about that water being contaminated, and so, like, yeah, I don't have anything to complain about, but I'm tired, man. I'm tired.
Allowed to be.
So, yeah, but it just,
KTA,
like, go buy an apple, like my old
KTA used to say, when he was still co-hosting with us, he remind us all the time, say, so turn your have-tos into get-tos. I get to go to work and be tired. I get to fucking shop for my family. I get to, right? All those things. And I just, I think you know that. You've just said that in a much longer, more eloquent way, but yeah.
Right. No, that's something I used to say all the time. Interesting.
Oh, yeah?
Huh.
Yeah. That was,
all the time, yeah. And there's a lot of truth to that. Dude, I'm in a position that I get to help people every day in some way or another. Like,
yeah, right.
Nothing to complain about. But I think I just want a week in my pajamas.
That's loud. Yeah, I'd say.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly.
Maybe litter a shower in here or there, probably.
Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So, but I did I did really enjoy last week our show.
So did I.
And it was very just kind of a hey, what do you want to talk about kind of thing, and
right. Well, I'll tell you what. We had kind of a plan going into this today. Oh, go ahead. No, I'll let you finish what you're saying because
I think it's really. Is it important or is it sad? Every moment of every day is a happening as the earth spins around the sun every time, and it happens in motion as life is in motion, and we get kicked out of that experience all the time with the presence of thought, whether it be thinking about tomorrow or thinking about yesterday, and it's just like, what a shame it is, because at any given moment we can apply meaning to whatever it is at any given time, and how often do we just miss that opportunity? How often do we just not take advantage of? And I looked at that experience you had last week, and it was just how many times have I went through that in my head about a chance happening that was not a chance happening. I ended up working for one of the greatest human beings I've ever met that was a total accident, and taught me all this stuff that ends up coming out in this show all the time that I would have never had any understanding. Had an interview and we talked to this guy, but listen, I went to school. I had to become sick of smashing a freaking nail into a 2x4, feeling like my life was wasted away, and so it's never just the micro movements always tell the story. How often do we look at the micro movements? And I'm going to answer that pretty much never, without consciousness, without awareness, or without some understanding of like phenomenological discipline, which is a discipline of consciousness. You know, I mean, so it was. I thought about it all week. Our show, and that experience for you, and how really cool. And so you were going to say something there.
Well, as we were talking about, you know, what to talk about in this episode, because, you know, we're kind of last minuting things again, which, as if history tells us anything, the times that we've done that, the times that we've done that, though, have turned into some of our best work. So, right. And, you know, we weren't really sure.
Times we haven't done that.
Well, we did those couple mini series there. That worked, right? You know.
But even those were still like.
I'm looking at the mailbag questions today, and I'm thinking maybe we'll switch this up.
Okay.
And we'll start there, because what we end up doing is we talk about what we're going to talk about, and then we sneak the mailbag questions in at the end. Right. And I don't feel like sometimes and that's me that does that rushes that along for the interest of, you know, programming time and producing and all that jazz. So why don't we just why don't we start out with some mailbag here? Right. Well, yeah, of course. Right. Why don't we start out with the mailbag questions?
Yeah.
And let's have some conversations about that, and then see where the day goes, if that makes sense to you. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You know what though? I actually before you do that, can I talk about something personal?
You can absolutely talk about something personal. Yeah.
Because I got something going on.
What do you got going on?
Medically.
Oh, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm for sure getting old. So I already have arthritis, and I have concussion issues. But so recently, I have an extremely dangerous blood pressure.
Really?
That came in at 190 or something.
Oh.
So I started a new medication for that. Now I got to go get another medication that I've been forgetting to do. And now I have to go do an EKG, I think it's called, or something like that.
Yeah, that's what because
I have very dangerous. It's blood pressure.
Oh, okay.
So I have dangerously high blood pressure, and so that's kind of like mortality wise, like ooh,
gets your attention, Gets your attention.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like the youth is wasted on the young. Well, I'm the poster child of that statement, man. I mean,
I think we can both,
not thinking. Yeah, well, yeah, like. Yeah. But I've always done sports and, and been made to the gym and did that stuff. And it's just like, I'm 45 with a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old. And dude, like, it ain't about optics anymore. It's not about cosmetics. Like, I got to start looking at my health as a real thing. That I have to look at my health in a way that I always thought old people had to look at their health.
Yeah.
And so that's me now.
Seeking a path to heal from trauma? Discover Yatra Center in Phuket, Thailand. Yatra specializes in EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, a groundbreaking therapy transforming lives globally. Why choose Yatra? Nestled in the tranquility of Phuket, Thailand, Yatra offers both online outpatient services and immersive residential programs. Their expert therapists ensure that traumatic memories are processed, becoming less intense and more manageable. Research-backed and globally recognized, Yatra's EMDR approach doesn't just ease the pain, it targets the very core, facilitating deep healing. Whether you're at home or at their serene center, Yatra paves your way from trauma to tranquility. Don't let the past overshadow your present. Choose Yatra, transform pain into strength, and step into a brighter future. Visit yatracenter.com and embark on your healing journey.
Yeah, so like, it scares me. I'm not gonna do it for my beautiful wife, but like, so, but when we got together to do this, you saw something, a value that I had,
yeah,
and it's a value that I've come to realize that that might be there, and it kind of scares me that it may not ever get out.
Wow.
This this perception and this philosophy, and like what if it gets wasted, man? Like what if nobody hears it? What if it doesn't help anybody?
Well, it's already
because I end
helped,
up with
but,
having a heart attack or a stroke or something.
Well, and I mean, so
yeah, I hope so.
We know that it has. And buddy, I got to say, if I was sitting here saying these things to you, what would you say? Fear the unknown.
Your counseling degree or something,
right? But it's that fear of the unknown.
What did I say to you? What did I say to you?
Yeah.
You know what I would say to you? I would ask you what is meaningful to you.
Yeah. Okay.
And then what else matters?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how does that apply to me? I have no idea.
I think here's something Mama Norma, who you're more than familiar with, has said to me 1,000 times in my life. Okay, 1,000.
Don't touch the remote.
Yeah. Where the fuck did you get that? And no.
Yeah.
And I know you're.
Don't tell me you weren't watching TV today.
Anyway, no.
I'm going to count to 5.
She has said to me at some of the worst, most worrisome moments of my life. So she always says it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. And you know what? She's been right, because we catastrophize. We hyperbolize these things in our brain. We go right to I'm going to die. But the thing is, you live in one of the most developed, like healthcare wise, one of the most developed countries in the world, right? You have access to a great doctor. You're aware of it early on, right? Well, early on subjective, but you're going to do all the things that you need to do because of those beautiful wife and kids, right? And you're going to mitigate this high blood pressure shit, and you're going to crush it because that's what you do now.
Yeah.
Right? You know, right? So
I think Chuck, I think that what we're doing can really help people live a fulfilled life, and it scares me that we're not going to get to enough people.
We are. And we are going to, we talked about some programming changes, some format changes here earlier on. We're going to reach a lot of people. You know, I hope so. Because I really think we can help people with these ideas. So do I. Last week being massive to me, right? Massive. All week that has been occurring to me. And I've made several posts. I've done several things about it. I've had some really great conversations off air, which are my real favorite ones, right? Just to be able to talk about this with a very good friend of mine back home in Regina, who's struggling all the time. Not with addiction, the usual topic, but some other things. And I think that like just her alone, I've been able to help, right? Like in a big way, I've been able to help. Because of that conversation we had last week, right? So, and I pointed her to the episode and said, "Take a listen; it'll mean something to you." And she did. So, right, you know,
Did it help?
Yeah, absolutely, it has. Absolutely, it has. Right? Just sometimes we just gotta. Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead. Yeah, you first.
Well, I'm curious. How did it help you?
For me. Example, I'm not a very tidy person, right? But I was thinking about last week and about how all those little things added up to something great in my life without like outside of my awareness, because I was doing, and they weren't little things. Some were little, some weren't, right? I find myself this last week making like a real effort, you know, and part of it is I have a dog that sheds an insane amount of hair. I don't even know where the fuck it all comes from. But I don't like animal hair. I'm really surprised that I have a shedding breed at all, right? You know, so
I got a mini Eskimo. I know your pain,
right? I sweep 3-4 times a day. I'm taking care of this place, and a lot of that, like because of that conversation last week, it's like you just got to keep doing these things, man. And I know like keeping a clean house isn't going to lead to, but isn't it? Right? Like it's those things that make me feel good about, I get up and I feel good about where I live. I feel good about what I'm doing. I'm in a space where I can do my job that much better, where I can have these amazing conversations with people and try and help out. So yeah, it helped a lot.
So
right?
I got to speak to that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Of course. Yeah.
Think about when you do those micro movements, what that does for your self-esteem, your self-worth, and your self-respect, or intrinsic resources.
100%. And you're the one that comes back 20 episodes ago, right? But like, right? It's absolutely. Yeah.
It's called neural loop feedback response theory. And this is what I used to do on the treatment floor. I would say you make your bed in the morning, and because you made your bed, you feel good about who you are for at least a second.
Yeah. Right. It's a start.
Do that 20 times in a day, and then try and have low self-esteem.
Yeah. 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 Right.
You know what I mean? So, and it's a daily thing we can do every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, on a deeper level, how has it changed your outlook? How has it changed the way you see yourself? How has it changed the way you see your place in the world?
A lot of pride. Like a lot of pride.
Confidence?
Oh yeah. Right. I mean, I don't know if that's a result of that particular episode, but it's certainly a result of the things that have happened leading up to the episode. The episode really made me understand it more, which of course understanding is, yeah. Okay. Well said. Yeah. So just to understand that, and to be able to understand it means that I can further build on it that much easier, because now it's inside my awareness and outside my awareness. And I just keep doing the fucking good things. Okay. Just keep doing the right thing.
Okay, let me ask you something.
And we'll all come together. Yeah.
Do you like yourself right now? Do you like who you are?
Yeah, I do. Okay. Yeah.
When was the last time you were able to say that?
It was a long time ago, if ever. Right? I was probably too young to even realize what liking yourself was. It was the last time, right? So
think about how powerful that is.
It is, man. It really is. That's the type of thing that we need to get out to the masses at the end of the day, right? So,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. And we're gonna, and you're gonna be fine.
It won't.
Yeah. Well, it will. I mean, just in case, just maybe give me rights to your book, like in writing somewhere, and then that way I can.
Well, we'll have to go through Don Rock about that, but yeah, I'm like, and then you talk about that, like, what happens if that thing's a flop?
Okay, now we're talking about fear of the unknown, and this is right. Like, come on, right? You know better than that. This is right out of your mouth now, right? Fear of the unknown, right?
Well, here's what I know is that I'm just as human as every other human being on this planet.
But you're not allowed to be. You have to put on a mask all the time.
Because I care.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. and I'm fucking exhausted.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Masks don't work, but masks don't work well for me, dude.
No, they don't take. No. So, interesting.
No. Okay. So thank you for humoring me with that.
There's just no humoring about it, man. That's some very real shit. And I'm glad that you're, comfortable enough on the platform to talk about it. And people need to hear that. People need to hear it from somebody who they're listening to so much. And they are listening, brother. They are listening. So, that we are all human. We are all human. And, we all are all human, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think that vulnerability is a powerful thing. So
it's everything. It's access to everything beautiful in the world. And it's hard and it's uncomfortable and sometimes it sucks. But
right.
For all of our faults and glory, we are loved.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, Ashes to Awesome listeners. The following PSA is brought to you by The Phoenix. The Phoenix is not just a gym. It's a community where the real weight lifted is not just barbells, but hearts, minds, and spirits. Whether you're in recovery or simply choose to live a sober lifestyle, The Phoenix offers a range of activities from yoga to hiking, all led by people who've walked a path of transformation. So why not aim higher with The Phoenix? The first membership requirement is just 48 hours of sobriety. Rise from the ashes today and soar with The Phoenix. Hey listeners, let's take a moment to talk about something crucial. Carrying naloxone. This life-saving medication can reverse an opioid overdose in minutes. You might think, I don't need it, I'm not around opioids, but the truth is you'll never know when you'll be in a situation where you could save a life. It's easy to use, and many places offer it for free or at a low cost. So let's be prepared and look out for each other. Remember, you might not plan on being around opioid use, but you never know when it'll be around you, and you could save the life of somebody that is loved. This is Jared Blaine with the Blacklist Podcast, and remember, you are loved.
So, while we've been sitting here, I've been just for this last minute or two, I'm trying to find a comment that somebody made. You just made me think about this, and comment somebody made on a post that was very similar to what we were talking about. And Mallory, who, by the way, Mallory, thank you very, very much for your generous donation. She's helping me buy a cabinet because I have zero furniture in this place, and I need somewhere to put food and dog food. And
I saw that post. So. Thank you, Mallory.
Yeah, right. The hanging bags from the stairway thing. Hey, you do what you got to do. What that doesn't show is I also have bags hanging from the curtain rods. Right? like I've got things hanging everywhere on that main floor, right? Yeah. So anyway,
yeah.
When I talked about this post, and it was a really, it was kind of cool. She was talking to me about my lack of sleep, and and I said, hey, you know what? Like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. I got a lot of living to catch up on, and I kind of talked about where I came from and where I'd gotten to, and we've very similar to what we talked about last weekend. And her reply, amongst a bunch of other replies and comments on that post, was, keep doing what you're doing. Awareness, vulnerability, and love save lives. And you're doing all three. Right? So, yeah, we are doing something here, man. 100% we are. Right? And I read that statement and just went, that was really powerful. Right? And it's something to kind of kick you in the ass and keep you motivated. Right? So, yeah. Awareness, vulnerability, and love. So yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's just so important to live a life worth living, and I guess in my own insecurities, I guess I feel at times that I fall short, or
no, man. Here's the thing, bro. If you died tomorrow, the impact you have had on my life has been profound. Since we started working together 9 months ago, something like that, you have undoubtedly had a bigger impact on my life than any one person I know. There's you and everybody else, right? So long as I live for a day longer than you, your work will go on for a day longer than you. You know what I mean? So, if that's any comfort or morbid, or I don't know, but
yeah, that is quite profound.
Yeah, right. So,
and I guess that speaks to my insecurity. Yeah. I really appreciate you saying that, man. I don't know. I don't take those compliments very well. It make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, but if it were me, you'd tell me to accept the compliments and
it's meaningful.
On, so right. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's not you.
Yeah.
I'm arrogant. Let's never forget. I'll never let you forget.
Oh, I know. Hey, listen, mate. Why don't we get into mailbag? I think this has been a great conversation, and there's some really great questions and important ones to answer today. So I'd really like to get into that, if that makes sense to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So
and I gotta relieve the wife with the kids here. So yeah.
Yeah. Right. So tell her to get on her Christmas shopping earlier then. Yeah. I'm just talking tough in front of my friends. Don't say that.
Okay. Yeah. Keyboard warrior. Yeah.
Right. All right. So Etobicoke, Ontario. Okay. I had to remember how to say this. Okay. Clint in Etobicoke, Ontario says.
Wrong.
How's your family? Sorry?
Etobicoke.
All right. Okay. Clint in Etobicoke, Ontario. I had no idea where Etobicoke was. So, how should families communicate with their loved one about their addiction during the holidays? Are there any do's and don'ts?
Well, I think, I would be remiss to add or expand on that. I think that addiction is a small part of mental health. So I would speak more to mental health. If we could be specific to addiction, but what about people with PTSD? What about people with anxiety disorders and depression disorders? And you know what I mean? So I'd hate to leave those out.
Clint, I'll give you a peek. I'll give you a glimpse into the future. We've actually got a couple of questions specifically about mental health this time around. And our audience being what it is. So maybe answer this one, the question as it is, and then we'll get a chance to address those things in future questions here.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I think the conversation is dependent on absorbability or understanding. I think I have a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I don't want to get too personal. But I have family members that my kids have never seen.
Yeah.
And the reality is it probably never will. And so, they ask me why they can't visit them or something like that. And so for them, I speak to about being not well, and that it is a very difficult thing to not be at full health, and sometimes it really limits people's capacity and ability. And it's not about any person. It's not about they don't want to. It's not that they don't want to see my girls. It's that the circumstances don't allow that based on their health. That's for a 1 and a 6-year-old. So if we're talking about, people that with a better rational understanding, obviously a higher age group, then last thing I think we want to do is we don't want to reinforce shame. We don't want to. So, and what is shame? Shame is about secrets. It's about silence. And it's about what's the third element? Secret, silence, and judgment. And so I'd want to take that off the table, and I would speak directly to it that there is so see, this it's one thing I don't ever want to do is to ruin anybody's right to their own confidentiality, especially around medical issues. So I would ask the person with the affliction what would be okay to speak to the family about, how they would want me to express that, and hopefully it would be a conversation about openness and honesty. And then with that permission, I would say that this our loved one is going through something really difficult, that is known as substance use disorder, that is diagnosed medically, and it's a really hard thing from a social perspective. It's a hard thing from a personal perspective, and it's a hard thing for a family dynamic. And so what we need to do is we need to really pour our heart and soul and love into supporting this individual the best we can. So the do's are honesty, openness, permission, and keeping a dialogue that is inclusive, asking questions, having and answering questions with honesty. We there's no we're not outing Santa Claus here. It's not like these secrets we're holding on to for tradition. If we're creating secrets, it's usually because we're uncomfortable, and so
yes.
The don'ts would be don't lie, don't make things sound like they are different than they are, and don't dehumanize, don't shame, don't vilify or make that person a bad person. And I would express it as like, we all have trouble in life. We all have struggles. And whether it be substance use disorder, or maybe you're bad with money, or maybe you're not clean or organized, or, that it can be such a variation of things. And I would explain that, like, you have problems making a sports team. That's a hard thing to go through, and like, this is a bit different, but it's still a hard thing to go through. So I would try to have some kind of humanistic common ground and understanding, and I would do everything I can to bring empathy or compassion into the conversation, so that the family members can feel with instead of othering and against. And so there's always this open avenue of love and support. And I'll always go back to setting firm boundaries and having integrity within those boundaries. So the do's are open, honest, transparent, permission. The don'ts are secrets, dehumanizing, vilifying, and hiding.
Yeah. Right. Well said, brother. Really well said, actually. I think we've talked a lot in other episodes, and this one, about boundaries, and because with the holidays, though, it's so important, right? Like, it's so important to talk, and not just the boundary side, though. Maybe arguably more importantly, is the humanizing side, right? So, well said, man.
Yes.
Well said.
Which I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
A boundary is a recognition of self and others. This is where I end and you begin. Doesn't mean we're different. We just have different realities.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you to Clint for that.
I hope that works, Clint.
Yeah. Right. Really well said, actually. Jessica in Malibu. Jessica says, I am 2 months sober. 6 months ago, I was driving intoxicated and killed someone in a crash. I'm going away for a long time, and now that I am sober, it is really hitting me. I am not a bad woman, but my life is ruined. I don't know how I can go on. I don't even know what my question is. I am so fucking lost. Wow. Jessica.
I can't. I feel that. I feel that trap.
Can I say something right off the bat? Congratulations on you for being sober now, and being sober. That is, I can't imagine a harder time to stay the course. So congratulations to you for that. Continue though, Ryan. Yeah, right.
More.
It's a big deal. Like, that's, if there was ever something that makes you want to get drink or forget or numb or right, that's going to be the thing.
Never needed a reason.
Yeah, right. That's there. So congrats on 6 months, right? Yeah.
You remember on probably just about every third episode, I talk about one of the most important values that we can have, and that's courage. And like, wow, the courage. Right. And so my answer to the, yes, of course you feel like that, Jessica. Of course you feel trapped and like it's over. But the courage alone lets us know that it's not over. If you have the ability to have the courage to do something about this, it's not, we don't know what's going to happen. The future's unwritten. We don't know. How many times have we heard a story like this from a keynote speaker, somebody on a podcast, somebody writing a book about how my life was absolutely devastated and I came through. And one of the most phenomenological or the greatest phenomenons of the human experience is our ability to have resilience. And like, this is what we have to lean into. The fear of the future is a fucking thing, but it is just a lack of information. And like, what can we do? For me, that's my question. How do I turn this pile of shit into fertilizer? How do I make this something that is fertile and cultivatable into something beautiful? Yeah. And all of the elements are here. Like, I don't know how long a long time is. I'm not a judge. Can't make that call.
Yeah.
I'm not even a freaking lawyer, nor do I want to be. But I do
think
know
a long time is if you've been.
If I'm to be honest,
a long time. If you've never been to jail,
I
a long time
don't-
is a week. It's such a relative thing, right? So, like, and something like
yeah,
this.
and so I don't
whatever it is, it's gonna be a
know
long
what
time,
what
right?
that means.
Yeah.
But I do know, like, I'm gonna be frank, and I'm using that word probably because my brain just triggered that. The book "Man's Search for Meaning,"
Yep.
never too far away from me.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, I know I've said it a million times because it's just so meaningful to me. He lived 4 years in Auschwitz and watched a sunset come up through barbed wire fences with the smell of rotting bodies all around him and saw beauty in the world. Meaning is what we make. It's not something that we find or happens to us. It's something that we make. And how do we take this and make meaning from that? And I know, like, I bet, I bet, Jessica, I bet you feel really alone. And I bet you feel like the world has judged you and discarded you and turned you away. And there's probably evidence to support that in some level. But there's what we're not seeing is the evidence that's there that there's there's a human being inside of you that has got the courage enough to get sober and write that. And so that admission within itself tells me that there's something in there that can and will propel you into something that is far beyond anything you could ever imagine your life being, if you want it. And if you're willing to work for it, if you're willing to do the things it takes to be a human being within this world, knowing that we make mistakes and some of them are devastating and some of them have grand consequences, but it does not make us any less human than we already are. It does not take anything away other than the struggle that we learn from in order to make a life worth living, a meaningful existence. And if Frankl can find beauty in a sunset in Auschwitz, I can find meaning anywhere at any time. And Jessica, so can you. And I can guarantee you that if you can see the world as a beautiful place and yourself as a beautiful human being within it, everything will change. It's just a matter of maintaining that and living within that every day. And whether it's in a jail, I mean, Mandela was in a jail cell for 28 years and found freedom in there.
Right. His
Why
only
can't I find freedom here in it? Exactly. And more meaningful and more impactful. And more importantly, he believed in himself that he could change the world enough that he fucking did it. And so can you, Jessica.
All said, man.
So yeah, that's tough. That hits me, man. Wow, I mean, fuck, Jessica. Like, that's hard. It's hard. But I've never come across anything worth it in this world that wasn't hard. If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't stick. It wouldn't stay.
Wow. Well, Jessica, thank you. And again, keep on keeping on with your, 6 months is just the beginning for you. So
the other thing I'll say, Jessica, is that if you're sober now and if you have not had your court date, there might be more leniency coming your way. I don't want to make an expectation, but in my experience, people that have done the awful things or have had awful things happen to them, that try to choose a life of health, in this case sobriety, that society seems to, we root for the underdog, but we got to have something to root for.
Okay. Moving from the West Coast to the
What's
East
happening
Coast.
there?
What do you mean?
Hold on. I don't know. Did you have a reaction? Like, you're a bit blurry on my screen, but I felt like there was a shift or something. Did you have something there?
No, I didn't. No, I mean, it's a lot to take in, and it's a big question, but nothing outside of what we've talked about anyway. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Moving from the West Coast to the East Coast, Emma in Fort Lauderdale, Florida says, my brother suffers from PTSD, depression, and other mental health issues. He has recently stopped taking his medication and is spiraling. He will be here for Christmas, and I need some tips on how to handle him around my kids.
You know what keeps coming to me here is seek to understand rather than be understood. What is happening in your brother's life that he feels the need to go off his medication? That's what my first thought is.
Quite often it's because of medication.
What's going on there? Or maybe it makes them tinny. Maybe they can't sleep. Maybe they get constipated. Like there's so many things.
Yeah. Well, it's just why I specifically said quite often, right?
Yeah. But my point, to me that's a bit of noise. I mean, the question is like why in society do we judge so quickly when someone goes off their meds? I mean, because obviously there's evidence that we see bad things happen. But do we ever wonder why? Do we ever ask the human being what their experience is?
Yeah. I'm kidding, eh?
And like, dude, I've been to a million counselors and therapists, and not many of them work for me because not many of them have seeked to understand.
Yeah.
And so I would start there. Now, spiraling, I don't know what that, I don't like that's kind of a big broad word. I don't know how that manifests. So like if it's spiraling into violence, then I would say that probably not good to have around your kids at all or family at all. If we're spiraling into violence, it might be time to make a certification call. Like I don't know the degree of that. If it's manageable, then how do we access your brother as a human being who happens to have mental health issues? How do we move away from you have mental health issues and you're off your meds, which means you're not a human being? Does that make sense? Like,
of course it does.
In other words, I'm
around your kids, right?
Yes, I know, and I'm getting there. There.
Okay.
But I mean, for me, I don't identify as high blood pressure. I'm not Ryan high blood pressure. Yeah, and I realize that's such a menial comparison. But it's when we have fear, it's really easy to dehumanize because then I can compartmentalize and I can vilify. Yeah. I can make that person the enemy. Let's not do that. Is this manageable? Is there a way that your brother can be your brother, not on his medication, and still enjoy being an uncle? Is that possible? And like, if it is, then then we talk about, here's some boundaries. Like, hey, let's understand. I want to understand what you're experiencing from a mental health perspective. How can I be support? I need to be very frank with you, and that is, I love my kids and I love you, and I need to know that they're going to be safe with the affliction that you have, and I need a commitment from you. You know what I mean? If that's the severity of it. And we want to entertain this union, and because most people, when they're treated like an adult, will act like one. And so if it's me and I have a mental health issue, and it's my sister, God rest her soul, were to come to me and say like, hey, Ryan, I know you're off your meds right now, and I know your mental health is quite acute, and I'm kind of worried about you being around my kids right now, but I really want that to happen. Can we talk about that a little bit? And I'd be like, yeah, for sure. I'd be like, you know what? To be honest with you, I'm probably not even going to come now that you've asked me that question because I don't trust myself. Or, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back on my meds for Christmas, and I'll go back off them when I'm done because I don't like them, but I want to be part of this family. Or, I'm not gonna go on my meds, but I promise you, like I'm gonna be good. But what I will do is I'll stay open with you and I'll communicate with you, or I'll say, hey, if you're gonna not be in your meds, you can be around my kids. Can we talk? Can we check in? maybe every couple of hours or something, just, see where we're at, like, just so I can feel better. Like, can you help me with that? You know what I mean? Like, so many avenues we can take. It's about clear communication. It's about articulating with kindness. It's about setting good boundaries. It's about seeking to understand. And it might end up being that, you know what, I just don't feel comfortable with it. And I think that we're going to stay home this year. And ultimately, Emma, that's your decision. You can do that, and then, how do you articulate to your kids? Well, your uncle's not well. And, I think we're just going to have a little intimate Christmas together this year, but we'll make good plans next year. Maybe we'll go see him in the spring. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be so finite.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And ultimately,
you've talked
Emma,
about this earlier in the episode
safety.
too, Ryan, about being open with the kids with, level of, comprehension or whatever, right? Hey, you know what? Just be mindful of the fact that uncle's sick and, he might, the excitement might be a little much for him or whatever, and just try and stay chill, right? So,
Yeah. And if something comes up you're not comfortable with, just come and tell me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm helping. And your uncle loves you. Your uncle wants the best for you. Don't forget that.
Of course he does, right? Yeah.
And I would say that to your brother, Emma. I would say, like, kids love you. They want the best for you. And that's all that really matters here. And sometimes, like, if worst case scenario, you got to love from afar for this period. Like, that's worst case scenario.
Sorry. My dog is shaking the desk. I was petting him with my foot, and he's like, I stopped. Right? And he's like, I don't think so.
That's not enough. More. That's funny.
Yeah. But I'm still on some rickety furniture here. So.
Hey, fresh beginnings.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not complaining. I got myself a real chair. I'm not using that wooden chair anymore. So there's that, right? Right.
Hey, quick. Have a look.
Yeah.
Quick.
What am I looking at?
Yeah.
What am I looking at?
Your life's fucking awesome.
Oh,
your life is awesome.
I've got nothing to complain about. Nothing, right? I mean,
quick.
Hey, all I had to complain about was the bullies up the road, and I told them what time it was, so whatever, right? I'm good.
What bullies? Yeah, you're the bully.
Yeah. It's. I'll tell you, it's.
We're gonna have to hit the thing, I think, bud.
I'm the only non-Thai person in this neighborhood. The only one, right? So it's an interesting feeling, right? It really is to be kind of isolated. It's not the right word because I'm far from isolated, but to navigate that and to experience some low-key racism. That's an interesting thing. Puts things into perspective for me in a big way, right? I'll tell you what, if you're pissed off at the person at Tim Hortons because they can't understand your coffee order, shut the fuck up. Right? That person is in another country, doesn't understand the language, and somebody put them on the speaker. They're having a bad day. You're not. Right? Like, right? I mean, my empathy has gone way up. So, but yeah, we better get to the to my favorite part of the show. That's the daily.
Today's Daily Gratitudes are brought to you by Revolution Recovery, helping men recover and become their best selves through support and treatment. They've been there and they understand.
Yeah, and I don't mean to push it, but I.
No. We're there.
Health, fuck, man.
Yeah.
I am grateful to be alive. I'm okay. I'm really grateful for what you said to me earlier about if I were to die tomorrow, that I've had an impact on your life.
Yeah.
And that's making me emotional, to be honest with you.
That's a rare thing.
I think well, it's not really, it's not you doing on camera. I think we all want to mean something to somebody at some time.
Yeah.
And you really, I mean, and I've known you for so fucking long, but haven't really known you until now.
Yeah.
And I think that's reciprocal. and to know that I've had a positive impact in your life is
huge.
It feels like it's worth it. Yeah, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I can guess those. I didn't really know to that degree until now.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you put it that way.
There is. I don't think there's outside of Mum. I don't think there's two other people's combined efforts who have had a bigger impact on my life. So just put that perspective for you.
Oh,
right? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got me this time. Fuck you.
Fucking eyes are sweating. Wipe them up, it's sweat. If you wipe them up, it's sweat. Stop crying. You're crying.
My eyes are sweat. So hot in here.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm also like, dude, I have like this fucking amazing I'm swearing. This amazing relationship with this beautiful woman that just, I don't understand how I got to deserve this like matching of a soul who happens to be an absolute smoke show. Like, yeah, I have met the best human being in the world, and I get to wake up with her every morning. And then our two beautiful little babies, who Cameron is now saying bye and dada and brings me the remote. And
more importantly, she brings me the remote.
She brings me the remote. Mackie takes it away. Cameron brings it back to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm just so I don't. Yeah, I fucked up. I fucked up a lot in my life. I fucked up a lot.
Yeah.
And to just have it pay out this way, like I don't deserve this life. And
right.
For whatever reason, I get to live it like this, man. I want this stuff to work for people, and that's the only way I know how to make it okay and make it all balance out.
Yeah,
I want the way I think to help fucking people somehow.
Yeah. Well,
instead
so far, so good,
well, maybe Chuck, maybe we are enough. Maybe
we gotta be.
Yeah.
For myself,
well, the evidence is there, man. I mean,
Go ahead. All right, now we're just
saying the evidence is there. Like, yeah, we are carrying on. Go on now.
Okay. My daily gratitudes. It's gonna be Sunny, my dog. He is truly a blessing in my life, right? Christmas is here. I'm not going to be alone, not physically alone, and for that I'm very grateful. I'll do a reciprocal one here and say you, brother. Really, and I guess this will be our last episode before Christmas. So to all of you listeners, all of you out there, Merry freaking Christmas to everybody. I hope the holidays are everything that you want them to be and more. I really do. If you can find the time to like, comment, share, do all the things, I really do appreciate it. Every time you do, you're getting me a little bit closer to living my best life. My best life is to continue making a humble living, spreading the message. The message is this. If you're in active addiction right now, today could be the day. Today could be the day that you start a lifelong journey. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member, call into detox, go to a meeting. Just get that journey started. Your family needs you. You are loved. If you have a loved one who's suffering an addiction right now, you're just taking the time to listen to us, get rather emotional today. Just take another minute out of your day and text that person. Let them know they are loved. Use the words.
You are loved.
That little glimmer of hope could just be the thing that brings it back. It's funny, there's a little bit of it.
My body's getting cold, my life is running low. Feel me falling. My life is running out. I pray I make it now. But if I don't, it will be okay. I'll find you another day, and I'm not scared to go. Okay, I'll find you another way, and I'm not scared to go, because when I die, I'll be happier in another life. I'll be a ladybug soaring through the sky. Please search for me. Please find me. So please don't cry when I land on your arms. Spread my wings and fly. So please don't cry. Spread my wings and fly.